Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chirag Kothari. I'm a faculty at IIT Kanpur. We work in the area of infrastructure engineering and management. And prior to that, I've completed my PhD from UT Austin. My research interests primarily lie at the interface of construction management, infrastructure systems, and decision analysis. And I kind of look into decision support systems for a more sustainable and resilient infrastructure systems. Within that, today I'll be talking about one of our works, which was around the role of asset maintenance for resilient infrastructure. Here, the work was done with one of my students for his MTech thesis. The whole idea is we often talk about this curve, and I think Ranjit was talking about it, that we are used to seeing this resilience curve where we say that the performance drops at a point the moment an event occurs, and then it starts to either recover or it collapses. The main finding which we had here was that if you see the first line, right, before the first decrease of performance, it actually is represented as a straight line. But people who come from asset management background know that actually it is not a straight line, right? The performance actually deteriorates with time. So even when there is no hazard, there will be natural wear and tear. So what we are saying is that in resilience, we often call it as a straight line and say that whenever there is a hazard, it will go down. But in asset maintenance, are used to seeing this curve, that the asset actually deteriorates with time. So what we are trying to study in this particular research is that what is the role of asset maintenance in having a resilient infrastructure system. So the research gap is quite clear that most of the works which are available consider the performance prior to the event to be a straight line, but that is not true. The maintenance actually has a role in what will be the payment condition, what will be the bridge condition, or what will be the end condition of any building. And also, a lot of this work which is being done is generally done post hazard, but there is always a linkage between what we do pre-war and post-war, if I call the event as war. So accordingly, the way we have developed this is we created a model of a bridge. We tried to mimic it, considering that the initial condition is say 100. Then in that simulation model, we have created a deterioration profile, that how the asset will deteriorate over time. We have also created a simulation profile for the hazard, how it is likely to impact. Then if there is a hazard, there will be a damage. So we have tried to model it. Also, we have tried to model the maintenance actions which we have to take, which we have to do before the event. We have modeled additional hazards that are cascading hazards, which are very common in any challenging terrains. For example, if there is a flooding, it can lead to landslide. So there is a cascading effect of hazards. So we have tried to model that. And then we have tried to see how the performance changes over time. I'll talk more specifically about the different maintenance strategies which we have studied. We have studied three different types of maintenance strategies. One is if I don't do any maintenance. Second is if I do routine maintenance every 5 years or every 10 years. And third is rehabilitation. That is, I do maintenance only if the condition of the asset goes below. Please remember, these maintenance strategies are before the event. And when I say event, before any hazard. And we have tried to see if I try to keep infrastructure maintained and it undergoes a hazard versus if I try it, if I don't do anything to the infrastructure and it goes under an hazard, what happens? So accordingly, we have updated our profiles, and the idea is same, that whenever I do a maintenance, the condition is expected to improve. And also, if the condition is better, the deterioration when a hazard occurs will be less. So we have modeled all those things: maintenance, how it leads to the improvement in condition index, how it shifts the fragility or the vulnerability, what is the potential reduction, and then how it can lead to higher resilience. The metric which I have used for analysis is a very common metric which is available in literature, where pre-event you have a curve, then basically we have disruption, recovery, and so on, right? And we are already aware of all these 4 Rs, where we say that robustness is how much the infrastructure is going down. Second is rapidity, that is how quickly we can bring the infrastructure back. Third is recoverability, that what is the maximum level I can recover it. And finally, there is this area under the curve, which is known as a Composite Resilience Performance Index. So this area under the curve is a very good representative. What it says is, if my infrastructure is able to recover back quickly, right, the CRPI will be very high, because the area in the blue shaded area will be very high. But if my infrastructure is taking a lot of time, or if it collapses, this area will be less. So I've used a very simple metric because my whole role was to translate how asset maintenance plays a role in resilience. So moving on, I'll show some of the results. The baseline case was the case of zero maintenance. So if you see here, the idea is that we are not doing any maintenance. We are only doing corrective repairs if there is an hazard. If you see here, the CRPI, which was the Composite Resilience Index, was coming out to be 0.529. So that is the number, which is a baseline number. Now we'll compare that number with other maintenance strategies. So for every fifth year, if we keep on doing routine maintenance every fifth year and the same hazard profile, and it's a Monte-Carlo simulation, so there are thousands of different simulation profiles, the CRPI actually increases to 0.745. Moving on, if I compare the different maintenance strategies for 5-year, 10-year, and rehabilitation, right? You can see the box plot here. On the y-axis, we have CRPIs. No maintenance often has the lowest CRPI values, and the routine 5-year has the highest ones. Even rehabilitation had a very high CRPI score, but when we compared the cost for it, it was almost coming 2 times the life cycle cost. So we could also compare that doing a preventive maintenance versus only doing rehabilitation, that is whenever the asset actually goes below a number. It made more sense to do preventive maintenance. On similar lines, for our small case study, we also had numbers where we could see what is the money spent for pre-event, post-event, and overall. How this is useful is people in the public side or government side are often used to seeing what is the return on doing this, right? So through this work, we could communicate by doing asset maintenance. If you are spending $1, you are actually saving this much dollars if a hazard occurs in the next 25 years or 30 years. Obviously, the chance of hazard is always variable. One could always argue that there is no hazard, but we could talk about this, that there is a resilience dividend in terms of doing asset maintenance. So the key findings are that maintenance timing actually governs resilience. So the resilience community often talks about resilience in terms of how to reduce the robustness, how to improve the robustness or how to reduce the performance. But we should also think about how to maintain our assets during normal times so that we improve resilience. Also, the recovery characteristics is dependent on what type of maintenance strategy we follow. There are always diminishing returns if we only do rehabilitation or corrective repairs. Also, the condition-dependent fragility is crucial. There are some cases in infrastructure where if you don't maintain it and if there is a hazard, say an earthquake, it will collapse and there is no chance of recovering it. So decision implications are there. We have created a framework which can be used for different cases. For our case, we have just used a small case study of a bridge, but the framework is generally applicable across different infrastructure systems. One message which I want to give away with this is that we need to figure out ways of communicating why asset maintenance is important. So unless we really measure it right, you don't have ways to improve it. So this is one way of quantifying it, that yes, asset maintenance has a role in resilience. I'm sure it has a role in sustainability, and for sure it has a role in performance. So we should try to quantify that and take that message ahead. Thank you.